Welcome back here to the studio at 7 Minutes. I'm Patrick and your host for tonight, and today's topic's gonna be cans versus bottles. So we have gone out and done some research and figured out first off Everyday Joe's opinion about this, and then we have figured out if how practical it is, and then at last we have how environmental it is before we're moving on to a conclusion. Now, in Everyday's opinion, we found out that cans are preferred by 43%, while bottles are only preferred by 27%, and that's a 16% margin. I can also briefly mention that this survey has taken place in within the US, and furthermore, 27% of the people could also go either way. Now, if you take the respondents who said that they don't prefer one over the other and add them to the ones who prefer bottles outright, that's 54% beating out can fans by 11%. Yet, if you threw a party with only canned beer, that means that you would satisfy 70% of your guests, since that would be 43% plus the 27% that could go either way. Whereas you provided only bottled beer, just 54% of your guests would be happy, since now we have 27% that preferred bottles and the 27% again that could go either way. Now, one respondent threw a curveball, and that was Philipsburg Brewing Company, who said that they are planning to package their beer in aluminium bottles. So it will definitely be interesting to see how that will work out regarding if people will think it's practical, if more people will buy it, or if it will have anything to say at all. And I noticed that the answers that we have gotten regarding this question that today is all about, cans versus bottle, are well, simply put, people are biased and they have strong opinions about this topic. From most of the guests, I could hear a change in the tone of their voice when they answer the questions. It was like their opinion swayed by personal perception, meaning that most people who chooses this question or chooses this so-called dilemma in everyday life don't really care about anything else than their opinion, which is fair, but it still doesn't change that people are biased regarding the topic here. Often I also would perceive an even raised voice or an excited tone when I asked it. So, well, that was the everyday Joe's opinion. Now, what did people say when we were asking them if it is practical or a research more correctly? And there's a few theories to explain this trend here, because cans go back to way back, way back to a simpler time. And thanks to the sense of hipster nostalgia, Pabst Blue Ribbon enjoys its current reign amongst penny pinching Brooklynites. Now, canned beer also chills better, meaning that if you were to put a canned beer in the fridge contra a glass bottle, the canned beer would be more chilled way faster than the bottle. And the collective hysteria over BPA poisoning, as we have heard lately in the news, a chemical in the lining of the aluminium and plastic products, has gone out of vogue. So you know that thing is this massive. This is not correct anymore, as we have seen that it has gone out of the news. Now, bottles certainly aren't going anywhere. I mean, you can look at the Sam Adams flagship that will remain bottled. If you haven't tasted this Boston Lager, Sam Adams, you have to taste it. It is one of my favorite beers. But this will still go strong, as they have sold their bottles in beer for the last 200 years or so. Even SKA bottles some of its beers, such as, well, wait for it, Buster Nut Brown Ale, is also uh, in cans. Now, it's that kind of plucky craft beer aesthetic that dislodged the American beer industry. Instead of just sticking to their recognizable mainstays breweries like Anheuser-Busch, now I want you to buy craft beer lookalikes like Shock Top. Now, beer used to be defined by its packaging, but as more and more craft beer pop up in can form, that also doesn't seem to be true anymore. and people are also interested to find out why more and more beer are coming into canned form instead. But yeah, it is also a better choice regarding transporting or bringing with you to like a river fishing trip or hiking or whatever. Now over to the last topic here before we are out of time. Is it environmental? Like what I'm meaning, which of the two are most environmental? Now, according to the federal government, the brewing industry maintains a good environmental record. But what does that mean? Well, thanks to provincial bottle return deposit system, minimal quantities of packaging ends up in municipal landfills. The national average for recycled glass bottles is 97%, and they're reused 15 to 20 times, while aluminium can recover rates are lower, about 80%, meaning that it is definitely most environmentally friendly to buy the glass bottles. But cans are lighter, which we briefly mentioned earlier about practicality, meaning that the transportation fees for companies that imports this kind of stuff is way lower. Most cans contain about 40% recycled aluminium, which is also good news, while recycled aluminium requires 95% less energy to produce per can. So the conclusion regarding this is going to be that if you go for everyday Joe's opinion, the cans are best because it's the most practical to bring everywhere. While the most practical in general would be also cans regarding storage opportunities and transporting opportunities, and how practical it is regarding that area. And the most environmental would be the bottles, like we just said. Thank you for tuning in here to 7 Minutes. I'm Patrick.